it's Nurse J. Hope everything is going well with you guys. It is a Thursday, and probably I'm not going to be making very many videos. I'm working tomorrow at the hospital, and I'll be busy as a little bee, no pun intended, um, this weekend. Doing some gardening, getting down and dirty, getting connected with nature, because I really need to get out there. So, we're going to make this a really quick video about the comparisons between Christianity and Zoroastrianism. Now, as you know, when the people from Canaan, Philistia, was taken to Babylon in the exile, and then King Cyrus and the auspices of Marduk came to Babylon and freed the people without a sword and without a fight. And you can find that very well documented in his Cyrus cylinder seal that has been translated in the internet. It was not Yahweh that led Cyrus, it was Marduk. Now, I don't really care if you don't believe me, but it is in there. Now, during the time that this happened, you have to understand that there was a lot of different people in the mix in Canaan. There was Egyptians, there was the Shashu, there was the Sea Peoples, and so it was just a mixture. So when they were in captivity, they come up with a lot of Babylonian and things like that, and Persian ideas. Zoroastrianism is Iranian, Persian. And so you got to understand that they took a lot from them because they really didn't have any stories. So they had to make things up and take and steal from other people. So you can go on this website called meta religion.com, and this is where I found this at, which was pretty interesting. Which I do know, just doing my own homework, Zoroastrianism played a huge part in Judaism. Okay, so let me get to the nitty gritty, okay? I'm not going to read all this to you. I'm just looking at it. Because a lot of material, and I'm just going to go to what's good for you. Goodness gracious. In terms of divine attributes, both religions share much in common. Ahura Mazda is depicted as the creator of the world. He's omnipresent, omnipotent, sweet, kind, and yada yada. And in the Bible, Yahweh is given the same descriptions. It is evident that in the Bible we have more clearly defined theology proper, yet even in the Avestas of the Persians. Here is where Christianity parts ways with the Zoroastrianism, because Christianity is an offshoot of Judaism, and Islam is an offshoot of Christianity. But they all go back to Judaism, which then goes back to Persian, which goes back to Babylon, which goes back to Egypt, which goes back to Assyria, which goes back to Chaldee, which goes back to Egypt. The whole thing is just a railroad. So, in Genesis chapter 1, there is no conflict or war among any spiritual beings at all. So, if Genesis, the very beginning, if there's no war, then what the hell's going on? It's nice and sweet, right? Only a creation of the material world with the divine sanction. And the Lord said that it was good. So, what is going on with that? if the prime says it's good and he's made good and there's nothing bad about it, where is this other stuff coming from? And Lucifer is seen as a contingent being who was created good, but he had the ability to lack that goodness and bring in sin and death, and eventually did. Excuse me. What C.S. Lewis, a major spokesman for Christianity, sums up the difference. I don't care about him either. So, as Lewis says, Christianity believes that the world is at war, that no man has a part or role to play in that war. Zoroastrianism too sees the world at war. A world divided into two camps: the right, the wrong, the bad, the good, the right or the lies. Both religions is the alliance that must be given to God and his cause in the spiritual war contained in this world. Since humanity has two spiritual roads to decide between, it is obvious the significance that moral choice plays within these religions. Regarding Zoroastrianism, Ethics One scholar notes, if there is in any sense an ultimate principle in Zoroastrianism, it would appear to be the ultimately moral choice. Christianity reveals that idea in the Mosaic description. Today I set before you the way of life and the way of death. Therefore choose life. In Deuteronomy 30:19. And the great pronouncement of Joshua, choose this day whom you will serve. Okay, let's go down and work this out. Oh my God, this is one thing that is in Ezekiel. Okay, so salvation comes through performing more good deeds than bad by outweighing his sin. The Zoroastrian question of sin and salvation is this way: what provision does Zarathustra make for the annulling of sin? The answer appears to be that there is none except the piling up of a credit balance of good thoughts, words, and actions. If a sinner turns his evil ways and does what is just and right, he shall save his soul alive if he can crowd into the rest of his life merit enough to outweigh his sin. And guys, that is in the Bible, almost word for word. And my gosh, I want to say that's in Ezekiel. Let me see if I can find that right quick. If not, I'll have to share it with you on another video. Let's see if that's in 18. Good grief. Because it talks about turning away from your wicked ways. Oh, woohoo! Y'all, it is in Ezekiel 18, verse 21, and it states, but if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. Zoroastrianism. Now, the eschatology part. Both Zoroastrianism and Christianity are eschatology religions. They ultimately look forward to the consummation of all things and at the end of this present age. The now but not yet is attention placed upon these worldwide views by the eschatology and brings about both existential and a religious fervor. Both religions view death as a beginning to a new series of events that the soul must encounter in the afterlife. In Zoroastrianism, the soul's eternal condition is determined by its conduct on earth in relation to the moral law of Ahura Mazda. So when one dies, he is judged for his thoughts, words, and deeds and how closely they conformed or departed from order. At death, the soul rises and is greeted by his dana, which takes the shape of a woman whose beauty or ugliness corresponds to the amount of good or bad deeds or words. Now, they copied this from Egypt. The individual's thoughts, words, and deeds are then placed upon the scale, and if the amount of good outweighs the bad, then the bridge is easily wide enough to walk across into paradise. But if the bad outweighs the good, the bridge becomes razor thin, and a person falls into hell. Okay. Okay, let's get to this part. Zoroastrianism also, when the world will be purged of evil and the kingdom of Ahura Mazda will reign triumphant. And the passage says, so when there cometh the punishment of these evil ones, then, O Mazda, at thy command shall good thought establish the dominion in the consummation for those who deliver the lie. I'm wondering, is Thoth all these people? Because everything seems to be about a thought, good deeds, writing, moral character. In addition to this, the soul is said to actually see God. Ormuz gives him spiritual senses and he rejoices at what he sees. Therefore, the inhabitants of this renovated world can actually see the God whom they equate with the invisible world of thought. The same is talked about the Christians. Jesus returned to earth, at which the archangel will blow the trumpet and God will judge the world. But the Lord will come like a thief in the night. The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything in it will be laid bare. The day will bring about destruction of the heavens by fire, and the elements will melt in heat. But in keeping with his promise, we're looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth, the home of righteousness. Well, hell yeah, it's when we're going to be destroyed by these freaking asteroids and probably just the cyclic time frames. This earth has been destroyed over and over and over again. It is a recycling bin. Familiar to Zoroastrianism, the God of the Christians will judge the world by fire and destroy the elements with intense heat. This is when the New Jerusalem will come down and become the new place for God's people and the eternal throne where God's kingdom will prevail. So we see both of these religions remaining within close proximity to their eschatology. Resurrection is also a predominant doctrine in both these religions. Persian holds that every human will receive back their very body that he lived in. When the appointed time arrives, the dead and the righteous and the wicked alike will rise on the spot where they died. Thus the earth and sea will surrender their dead and will be gathered before the judgment seat. And the souls of both the righteous and the wicked will be reunited with their bodies, the bones being demanded back from the earth, the blood from water, and the hair from plants. The dead bodies are to be cared for in a special way because of the resurrection that will occur. Christianity heavily relies on the resurrection, and Jesus' resurrection from the dead is deemed the first fruits because those who believe in him will rise to life as well. In conclusion, we see that the Persian and Christianity, in many ways, from its theology proper and anthropology to its eschatology, both religions find themselves on a common ground. So, what do you think about that, my friends? Because the people stole from Babylon and Persia. And then when Rome had to make a new deal, not FDR's New Deal, they had to make a book that copied them, that the Judaism copied from somebody else. And then Rome did their nasty deed and copied again for Islam, because we're all tied to Jews. And if the Christians and the Muslims would realize that the Jews have a plan, the Zionists, not per se the people that are studying the Torah that really believe, it's the Zionism that is wanting to take over the whole world. And they want to build the third temple. The Zionists want to build the third temple to usher in a Mashiach, because they believe that the Mashiach is walking around here right now. He's living right now. He's from the line of David, which I didn't told you guys, there's no line of David. There was never a real David. There was never a real Solomon. So these were Egyptian pharaohs. So they're going to make up some BS to bring in and rule, or try to rule, all the nations. Now, in the book, Old Testament, and Ezekiel and all that, Isaiah talks about the New Jerusalem. How at the end, this king will rule all nations. All nations. With a iron fist. So, hope you've enjoyed this little video. I'm kind of chilled today. I'm just relaxing. I'm not doing too much hollering today. I guess I didn't have a good night's rest. So until then, guys, Hotep and Ashe. I love you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends and family about me. I always can back up my stuff. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.